What's up, everybody? Dan Sports News here, bringing you the 24th episode of the Dan Sports News and Friends podcast. You can follow me on Twitter and Facebook at Dan Sports News and Instagram at I am Dan Sports News to catch my latest articles in sports. Today's guest is former WBO light welterweight world champion boxer Kendall Holt. Check it out. When did you realize you could box at the next level?
I knew I was faster than a lot of people, and I knew I hit hard. And, those two attributes right there, are two of the things people can't be taught. You can't be taught how to throw fast punches, and you can't be taught how to punch hard. And those are two things right there. If anybody has those two things, the rest comes with experience.
Now, you had the nickname, or you still have the nickname, Rated R. Who gave that nickname to you, and when did you get that nickname?
I named myself that in 2001 after seeing the heavyweights fight. And, oh my God, what was his name? I can't believe, hold on one second. I can't believe his name just slipped my mind.
Was it an announcer or somebody that gave you the name?
No, it was nobody. I gave it to myself. So he knocked Lennox Lewis out, and Raheem Rahman. And during the interview, he said that his knockout was rated R or something to that effect. And I was thinking about a nickname, a boxing name, and I didn't want to take on anything anyone else ever had. So when I heard Rated R, I immediately got excited in a hotel room after one of my earlier fights, and I said, you know what, that's gonna be my nickname.
Tell me about your first pro fight. What do you remember about that day? What was going through your mind when you first had your first fight?
My first pro fight, it was in Atlantic City, and I remember riding down to Atlantic City, and I see all the lights and everything that I've only seen on TV, and I got super excited, and the whole entire process was exciting. I remember waiting in the hallway. I could see the ring, waiting for my turn to go, and I'm just sitting here with my gloves on, and I'm just, most people would be nervous, and I was just super excited, ready to go, because I envisioned that moment for so many years, and it was finally about to happen.
What did it mean to you to win your first professional fight? How did that moment feel?
It felt sort of like I just felt like I was on top of the world. I just felt like I was on top of the world. Like I won my first professional fight.
Right. And you actually went on to win 15 straight fights. What's going through your mind when you're on that winning streak? Do you ever think, like, maybe this is just too easy for me? What's going through your head when that happens?
I never got a thought that was too easy for me. I just felt like and I was winning. I just couldn't wait to be on TV. I couldn't wait to have all the glitz and glamour. I couldn't wait to be champion of the world.
What was it like when you had your first loss? How upset were you about that match?
I was extremely disappointed in myself because there were things that were taking place in that fight that I was telling myself, and I just didn't listen. Like after I got caught the first time and I got up and the guy came at me to, unload again, and something was telling me to grab him, but I didn't grab him. I just covered up, and then I ended up getting hit and going, and then the referee stopped it. So I was disappointed because I didn't listen to myself.
And then you won the vacant WBO Intercontinental Light Welterweight. What was it like when you won that first championship?
What? And to make it so bad, I won that championship. First of all, it was my first 12-round fight. I was ecstatic. I was over the moon. And I was in Florida, not too far from Miami. So, I just felt like everything that I had worked for was coming to fruition. It's getting my first championship belt, because originally that fight wasn't slated to be a championship fight. But I contacted my promoters. I was like, look, I want to fight for a championship belt. I'm ready. And so they I got an experienced guy and put a championship belt on the line for me. And, I came out on top.
And now your biggest one that you won, the WBO light welterweight against Ricardo Torres in 61 seconds. Tell me about that fight.
All right, so that fight was in Vegas. And it was actually my second time ever in Vegas. And that was my second time in Vegas that year, too. And just being in Vegas, arguably the biggest fight capital in the world, and getting off the bus, and getting off the airplane at the airport, I see these giant posters of myself, these billboards all over the place. I see my picture on the advertisement on taxi cabs. I see my picture advertisement on the buses, the casino tables, all around the casino, all around and all around Las Vegas. And I just felt like I was a star. That's how I felt. So and then it was several iconic figures at my fight, including Zab Judah, Mike Tyson, and Paris Hilton. So I just felt like I was on my way to being a star, and I felt like I was amongst the stars, so I should be a star.
Now, when you won the fight, he knocked you down first twice, but then you got up and ended up winning. What goes through your mind once you finally win that fight, and so fast?
All right, so the timing didn't affect me. That it happened so fast. I can remember just after I got up, I wasn't hurt. I was in such good shape that I wasn't. When I went down, it was a flash knockdown. It happens. I got up, and then at the right before the second knockdown, we were trading, and then in the midst of trading, it was going through my mind to grab him and hold him, so I didn't go down again. And then I ended up going back down. But once I got up, he right away hit me again, which was illegal. Which was an illegal punch, and nobody ever mentioned it to this day besides me. And that right there, something snapped in me, and I got pissed off because okay, you hit me and I go down, fine. If it's legal blow, you got me, fine. But don't try to cheat. And I hate a cheater. And for him to hit me and try to hurt me when I got up, that right there pissed me off. And that's when I went into when I was like, all right, now was a fight under all the lights, in front of all the fans, on Showtime, in front of all these celebrities. I'm gonna show you what I really can do.
Right. It lit a spark in you, and then it just made you go off, and you finished and won the fight.
Yes, sir. Gone in 60 seconds.
Now, you talk about all those celebrities watching you ringside. Who would you say were some of the biggest celebrities that would support you and watch your fights ringside?
You know what's crazy? Early on in my career, I'm walking to the ring, and Denzel Washington was sitting right next to my corner. So I don't know who the biggest stars that were watching me, but that night, that in Madison Square Garden, of course, nobody knew who I was that night because I wasn't the headliner, but there was just so many top huge celebrities in there, including Denzel Washington, Zab Judah, and Donald Trump was there that night too. It was just star-studded. So I don't know who, but some of my biggest supporters that I know of is two-time Super Bowl champion Brandon Jacobs, close friend of mine that's in the NFL, Mike Adams, Plexico Barris, one of the close friends of mine from NBA, Tim Thomas, and then a host of other fighters in the sport.
Now, you fought against Danny Garcia. What was it like going against him?
I mean, it was like any other fight. You know, it was basically any other fight that, and it wasn't so much. I mean, Danny beat me in a split decision, but it wasn't so much of what he was doing in the fight, so much as it was what I was unable to do. And at that time, I didn't know, like, I was killing myself trying to make weight, so I couldn't be as active in the fight as I wanted to be. But I mean, you know, it was a fight nonetheless, and I didn't come out on top because I didn't do enough.
When did you realize it was time to hang up your boxing gloves and retire from boxing?
All right, so my last fight came about 7 years ago, almost to the day. Almost to the day of this interview. And then I had done so much preparing for that fight, and then, you know, I was doing so good early on that one and then I ended up losing, and once I lost, it was just like, you know what, I don't know if I want to do this anymore because I put so much into it, and I don't know, and to me, like, you know, I should have beaten this guy, and I didn't, and there was a lot of frustration. I was depressed afterwards, and then I didn't think that there would be any other promoters that would work with me, and then so I just basically made up excuses to myself not to go to the gym, not to get back in the ring. Like, I completely stayed away from the sport, and I didn't watch it. I wasn't going around it. I was in and out the gym here and there, but I don't know. I just felt like my time was done.
Was there somebody that you ever wanted to fight that didn't ever happen, that the fight never happened? Was there someone on your radar that you really wanted to fight against?
You know what? This might seem crazy because I know a lot of people hear stories about fighters wanting to fight other fighters, and I didn't have anyone that I could point out that, yeah, you know what, I want to fight him. You know, there's not one person that I didn't fight that I wanted to fight. If you had a championship belt and I didn't, then I wanted to fight you. If you didn't have that championship belt, then I didn't want to fight you because I only wanted to be champion. That's it. So I only wanted to fight the people that was champion. And if you lost your championship belt, then you were no longer on my radar. So whoever was champion at that time, that's who I wanted to fight. But specifically, a single person that I wanted to fight that I didn't get a chance to fight, no, I can't say there was anyone.
In 2018, you were inducted into the New Jersey Boxing Hall of Fame. What did it mean to you to achieve that honor?
You know what? All right, so you get everything in life and in sports. You kind of get what you work for, right? So, and then you're always given an award soon after, like, I won this championship fight, so I got a championship belt, I got a check. But years down the line, now you're being awarded for an accumulation of the things that you did over the years. So it was an award that I felt great about because it meant that my career meant something. I did something successful in my career to warrant such a high honor and a high reward. So I mean, I was over the moon again. I was just happy about it. And then, you know, leading up to me accepting the award, I was kind of flirting with the idea of coming back to the ring.
Is there any chance that you will make an appearance back in the ring?
There's always a chance because I just haven't completely accepted the idea that, you know, I'm done, because over the years, I still go to the gym, I still train, I still spar, although irregularly, I'm still there, and I still see that I have the skills and the potential that made me a champion of the world one time ago. So I still flirt with the idea, but if the right circumstance presented itself, then I think I would definitely capitalize on the opportunity to re-enter the ring.
Are there currently any fighters right now that you're working out with and sparring with?
Just some younger, more less experienced guys. One guy, just teenagers and young adults that are just coming into sport. One kid, his name is Dwight Flemings Jr., and he has a lot of potential. So I've worked with him sometimes, and I see a lot of good things in him in the future.
What was your favorite venue to box in?
Vegas, Planet Hollywood, because they had my picture all over the casino. I had my picture on the blackjack table. There was free food all over the place, and that's where my championship fight was held at. So I'll always have a special place there'll always be a special place in my heart for Planet Hollywood. And if I ever go back to Vegas again, I've went a couple times after that, but if I ever go to Vegas again, I'm always gonna feel like I should stay at Planet Hollywood.
Now I have to ask you, because this has become a big topic now. As a professional boxer, what do you think of these YouTubers who fight against each other? What are your thoughts on that?
What do you mean by YouTubers?
Well, we see people like Logan Paul, KSI, and all those YouTubers who now fight against each other. What are your thoughts on YouTubers who fight?
If a person wants to get in, you know what? I don't mind them, because a lot of people have their opinions on fighters and what we do, but they really have no idea what it takes to get in that ring. Leading up, before you even get in the ring, there's so many things that we go through before stepping in that circle. Like, most people in boxing have jobs, they have wives, they have children. So aside from boxing, they have regular lives, and now to incorporate boxing into our regular life, because the preconceived notion is that if you're on TV and you're fighting, then you must be well off financially, and that's just not the case. So a lot of people got to get up, go to work, take care of their children, take care of their family, and then at the same time try to go to the gym and get in a great workout. And most people gotta have to work out 2 or 3 times a day. So I mean, for these guys to try it, let them go through it. I think a lot of announcers should try it too, because the way they talk about certain fighters is ridiculous, and they have no idea of what we go through, and fans alike too. Like those people who call people bums or, oh, he quit or things like that. Get your ass in there and try it. Go through a 2-3 month weight training camp, lose 20 pounds, 15, 20 pounds, try to go to sleep early, try to go to work, try to take care of your family, and then see how you feel after losing all that weight, training all this time, taking care of your family, going to work. See how it is to get under those lights, in front of those TV cameras, in front of those fans, with another guy that's going through a similar situation that's trying to take your head off. And tell me how you feel, all while knowing the wrong shot could knock you out and you lose, or the wrong shots can accumulate in your life. Then tell me how they feel. So I like it. I like it.
For sure. Now, why didn't you ever fight in the Olympics, and was that something you ever wanted to do?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to go for the Olympics. I lost early. I was all right. So to get to the Olympics, there's tournaments that you have to win, and I lost in the quarterfinals of one of those tournaments to Demetrius Hopkins, who I beat as a professional to defend my world champion title against him. He beat me in the National Golden Gloves in the quarterfinals. So that was one of the tournaments that ended my chances of making the Olympics. And then I went on to another tournament, and I fought one of the former number one contenders in the amateur ranks, and his name was Keith Kemp, and he also beat me to stop my chances from making the Olympic team.
Now, a few years ago, Floyd Mayweather fought Conor McGregor. What were your thoughts on that fight? Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched it. I mean, if they didn't have the hype leading up to the fight, I'm not sure I would have watched it. But because the insults, the mockery and all of that, like it made you almost like you have to watch it. So I mean, I thought it was. I mean, it happened the way it was going to happen. There's no way I think Conor McGregor would beat Floyd Mayweather inside the ring at any weight class, because I mean, people who've been fighting for 20, 30 years at a top level in boxing can hardly beat Floyd Mayweather. So there's no way a guy coming from another sport that's not even boxing. I mean, you have some stand up and you throw a couple jabs, a couple right hands, but there's nothing like boxing. There's no way another guy, aside from just maybe getting a lucky shot in and knocking Floyd out, which we know wasn't going to happen, but there wasn't a chance that he had to win. I basically watched it to see if Conor McGregor would slam him or elbow him or just some tactic, trying some tactic that he was used to from the MMA.
Right, yeah, I agree with that. Now, in women's boxing, Claressa Shields, she had a big fight a few weeks ago, and she's the best boxer right now in women's boxing. What do you think of her fighting style, and do you think she's the greatest woman fighter of all time?
I love Claressa Shields' fighting style because she fights with so much aggression. She fights with so much confidence, and she is the greatest woman of all time. There's some things going back and forth about her and Laila Ali, and I think Claressa Shields is a lot better stylistically than Laila Ali, and I think she's a more accomplished female fighter than Laila Ali. So I would give Claressa Shields. I would bet the house on Claressa Shields, and I wouldn't be surprised with that Claressa Shields stops it, because she has so much aggression, and you could just see it at each one of her punches she throws. And I know she's not a knockout artist, but for some reason I just see her with all of that aggression, all of that anger, and all of that desire. And I just see her. I think if that fight happens, I think she will stop Laila Ali.
I'm with you on that one. I think she's the greatest boxer right now. In women, she's won gold medals, 3 titles in 3 different divisions. Just the best fighter right now.
She's definitely. If there was a co-ed pound for pound boxing list, she would definitely be in the top 10. And at that weight class, are there male boxers she can beat? I think a lot of people in boxing that would like to find out, and I'm sure there are a bunch of male boxers that she can beat. Will it ever happen? We don't know. I would love that. I would pay to watch that fight, like I'm sure the rest of the world would too, and that would probably end up being one of the highest grossing fights ever.
I agree with that. They need to set it up and put it on pay-per-view. Would be definitely one of the highest watched fights.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I know you're from New Jersey, and there's another New Jersey fighter who I've also been watching on the radar who's very, very good right now, Shakur Stevenson. I think right now he's the best boxer in men's fighting. What do you think about his style of boxing and his game?
That's another one. I watched Shakur when he was little. I've known him since he was a little kid, and Shakur's always been at the top of his game. Shakur is one of those kids that didn't want to quit. That, I mean, he came up the hard way. He wasn't born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He has a bunch of siblings. So I'm sure growing up with a bunch of siblings, fighting is one of the things you get accustomed to doing. Now, to go out and compete in an organized boxing match, that has to be. He probably had a lot of aggression from growing up with a bunch of siblings, but his fighting style is awesome. He fights with a lot of confidence, and I'm just happy that I got to see him, that I'm still alive to watch him become champion of the world.
For sure. He's definitely the future of boxing.
Absolutely.
In your opinion, who do you think are the top 5 boxers of all time, in your opinion?
Woo! Top 5 of all times. All right, so got to go with Roy Jones, Shane Mosley, Roy Jones, Mike Tyson, Shane Mosley, Floyd Mayweather, Zab Judah. Is that 5?
I think that's 5, yeah. What about Ali?
See, Ali, I've never watched a complete Ali fight. All right, so Ali has the name and the moniker because of what was going on in the world at that time in the country, and he stood up for a lot for people. So I've never watched a complete Ali fight. I've seen highlights and things like that, but so he didn't come from my era. So I didn't watch him that. I didn't really watch him that much. So I'm talking about I picked the people that are from my era. Like you'll say they'll be like, this person is the greatest of all times in this sport, and that person is the greatest of all times in that sport. And I don't think people can say the greatest of all times because, fight game, the basketball game, football, things are just different in different eras. So I picked the top 5 from my era that I would put in my top 5, and those were the fighters.
Yeah, I agree. I'm cool with that. Every sport, the game is always changing. The game always evolves from sport to sport, so you really can't compare era to era.
Yeah, absolutely.
Last thing before I let you go, in your opinion, what is the best boxing movie, and which movie would you say is the most realistic boxing movie from what you've seen?
Boxing movies, all right? Boxing movies. I would tell you this. The one with Michael B. Jordan, who's a New Jersey native as well, didn't as much as I thought it would because, everybody loved the Rocky movies, and outside of the actual fight in the movies, though that's the part I can't get past. I'm like, this fight looks terrible, but the storyline with Michael B. in the movie with Michael B. Jordan, that is up there with Rocky. So I think because of Rocky, because it meant so much at the time, and it was what was it, 4 or 5 parts of Rocky? I don't know, but it was 4 or 5 parts, so people got to enjoy those movies for a long time. But if you sat people down now and had them watch those movies, a lot of people won't enjoy it because it's from a different era. Like the movies we see, the HD will look a lot different. So it's like some of the music that we hear is a lot different. So the movie now with Michael B. Jordan definitely has to top my list.
I mean, Creed, I would say Creed was probably my favorite boxing movie, and it's also technically it's a continuation of the Rocky movies from the olden days too, as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like many boxing movies, but Creed I enjoyed.